Hello, everyone. My name is Zack and this is Hydroelectricity with Waterfalls. I'm experimenting with how hydroelectricity works with waterfalls. In the following slides, you'll see information about hydroelectricity, my hypotheses and questions. I will show you how to make your own water wheel step by step, like my own right here. And then I will present the results and how I got them. And finally, we will discuss how much power one could get from an imaginary hydroelectric plant at Falls. I hope you enjoy the following slides and learn more about hydroelectricity. Before I get started, I should explain why we should even use hydroelectricity. What are the benefits? To start off, hydroelectricity, like windmills and solar panels, are renewable energy sources, which means that you will never run out of them for a while, like until the sun explodes. Yeah. Anyways, another benefit of renewable energy sources is that they don't send CO2 into the air to increase global warming and the greenhouse effect. For windmills and solar panels, though, if it's cloudy or there's no wind, then they can't create much energy. But for hydroelectricity, it will normally always create energy because it's quite rare for a waterfall to stop falling. Also, normally, the energy you would get would normally stay around the same, while wind and sun would constantly change. Finally, hydroelectricity has the most efficient generators, topping at a whopping 90% efficiency. There are a few downsides of a hydroelectricity though. Normally, hydroelectricity is created by putting a dam in a river, which makes it so that on one side there's barely any water, and so if there's a drought, it could destroy all the water life. And on the other side, it could flood a giant city, like in this picture. There used to be a thriving city here, and now all that's left is a single church on top of a hill in a giant lake. Another thing is fish trying to migrate can get stuck in the dam. The good news is that if you use a water wheel at a waterfall, water will keep flowing the same, and most fish, except the occasional salmon, would get stuck in them because normally only fish don't swim up and down a waterfall, except of course salmon. I hope that you now agree that hydropower is currently the best way to create electricity. At the start, I had a few hypotheses and questions. My questions were, how do stators and generators work? How do you turn mechanical energy into electrical energy? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectricity? I found online that to calculate the power, you need to use this following formula. The waterfall's power in watts is the flow rate times the waterfall's height times the acceleration of gravity and times the efficiency of the power plant, usually between 0.7 and 0.9. My hypothesis was that my water wheel would produce about 1.5 volts, and the flow rate of the water would change the amount of volts you get, and the height would also change the amount of volts you get. Anyways, how to make your own water wheel. So you're gonna need 6 or 8 plastic spoons, depending on what kind of water wheel you're going for. You're gonna need 2 small flat plastic circles, like these ones here. You're gonna need 1 motor/generator, like this here. You're gonna need 1 pencil, so that's optional. And then you're gonna need a hot glue gun and a drill. So first you have to place a circle and make 3 or 4 lines on it using the pencil, depending on how many spoons you have. For instance, 6 spoons, 3 lines, 4 spoons, 8 spoons, 4 lines. Hot glue the spoons onto the line you drew, leaving a space in the middle for the motor/generator. Then hot glue the second circle on top of all of them. Next, you should drill a hole in the bottom near the middle that's big enough for the part of the motor that normally spin, but other than that, as small as possible. Then you just put the motor in. You may have to squeeze it in, and if it's too loose, then you can hot glue the motor in. After that, you have your own water wheel that works just like this. Here are the results. The results are as follows. We found out by using 3 different flow rates that the flow rate does matter. The first was medium power with a hose at a flow rate of 0.24 kilograms of water per second, and that produced 2 volts, more than a AA or AAA battery, so quite a lot actually. The second flow rate we tried was max power with a sink at a flow rate of 0.1 kilograms of water per second, producing only 0.4 volts. The last was low power with a hose at a flow rate of 0.03 kilograms of water per second, producing only 0.1 volts. This shows us that the flow rate does in fact matter. We also found out by using 2 different heights that the height does not matter for my water wheel. The first was we put the water wheel as close to our hose as possible, but so that it doesn't hit it, and it produced 2 volts. The second, we put it 3-4 feet down, and it still produced 2 volts. That's a bit strange, but this makes me think that it would produce more energy, in fact, if it weren't for water dispersion, because I bet that if I had a bigger water wheel that could catch all the water, then it would produce more. But all in all, technically, with this water wheel, the height does not matter. At medium flow for my hose, my water wheel produces 2 volts. This is enough to power an LED, a small sound maker, or for some reason you want to power a fan, you could do that. Though technically there's not really any reason to turn mechanical energy to electrical energy, just to turn it back to mechanical energy again. And if you want more power, you just have to increase the flow rate. Anyways, here is a video of the water wheel in action. Okay, so now we are going to see the water wheel in action. So the hose will spray water down like a waterfall, causing this to spin. Then in the motor, it will turn the mechanical energy into electrical energy, sending it to this LED light. Let's see it in action. So here it is. Okay. So yeah. Anyways. So to figure out how much energy per force created, we had to use the formula from before. So we figured out that the flow rate was 3,540,000 kilograms of water per second. The height was 64 meters, and let's just say that the efficiency was 90%. So according to all this, a perfect plant at Parafours would create about 2 gigawatts, give or take a few. And the good news is it's not really a tourist attraction because it's hard to get to. So it wouldn't be completely destroying a tourist attraction or flooding anything important, which is good. And since it's quite far out in the wilderness, not many settlements to disrupt and flood, so no problem there. The only problem is since it's super far out and there are no roads leading to it, it'd be pretty hard to build because the only way to get there would be by boat or by creating a helicopter pad, And if you were to build this, you'd probably want to do both. But if you could build the power plant, it could deliver 25% of Venezuela's power demand. And the power falls is in Venezuela. So if Venezuela just got an energy power plant there, it could be 25% of its power demand would already be done. It could produce enough power to power about 1.5 million houses in the US, 220 LED lamps, and it would generate as much power as 2.6 million horses. Funniest thing, wouldn't even be the most powerful plant in the world. Anyways, that's it. So I hope you have learned a lot about hydroelectricity and why it's one of the best ways to get electricity. I know I sure have.